See that guy? That's me. My excuse for looking like this? I'm a writer.
Eddie, maybe it's time to let the writing go.
But just in case you think nothing ever happened to me.
Eddie Mora!
Hey!
Tell me about this book. Well, how much have you written of it?
Not one word.
Well, I suppose I can help you with that. You know how they say that we can only access 20% of our brain? This lets you access all of it. They've had clinical trials and it's FDA approved.
All right, just out of curiosity, and that's all. I was blind, but now I see. A tablet a day, and I was limitless. I now had cultural appetites.
Since when do you speak Italian?
I finished my book in 4 days. I'd like to renegotiate my advance. Math became useful.
From 12,000 to 2.3 million in 10 days.
I'm baffled by this guy. So, Eddie Mora, you do know you're a freak. What's your secret?
Medication.
Well, good to see you both.
You too.
And gotta tell you, it's gotta be great when a movie elicits so much controversy after it's over, or conversation, I should say. We all, as usual, talk about the movie after it was done, and the question was, would you take the pill?
Right.
100%.
Everybody
Across the board,
Oh,
yes.
good. Yeah.
Yes. And it makes me think, you know, just like even with the line, would you take it, you know, if it was gonna open up everything for you?
Yeah, worth the risk.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like your guy, you think about, you know, just the way he is in the beginning of the movie, you know, kind of a free spirit, you know, type guy, but he takes the pill and boom, it opens up everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell me about his transformation a little bit.
Well, he goes from a guy, you meet him on the sort of probably the worst day in his life in a long time. His girlfriend breaks up with him. He's about to be confronted with the fact that he hasn't paid his rent in God knows how long. This book contract that he's had for probably God knows how long, maybe a decade, is running out. And the thing about Eddie at that moment is it's not so much that he feels sorry for himself, that's the sad part. It's that he's actually reconciled the fact that he's just not going to fulfill the potential he thought he once had. Then all of a sudden he runs into a guy who says, you know what, you can.
Yeah.
And then he takes it, and the very thing that's been plaguing him, this book, happens in 3 days. So what you think is going to be the answer to his problem isn't. Now it's what are you going to do with all this access?
Right, right. Because then all of a sudden your guy, here he is in charge of this company. He sees this guy who may not know a lot about him, but he wants to be the smartest guy in the world and has all the best answers.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely make him want to hire him.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, but it's kind of funny. Everybody will always think if we get the most, you know, be it money or power, it's all going to be the end of our problems. That was only his beginning.
That's right.
And tell us a little bit about some of the things that did happen to him.
Well, I mean, in order to achieve what it is that he wants to achieve, he needs money, as he says. And in order to do that, he gets tangled up with this huge merger that's happening in the city at that time, headed by Carl Van Loon and this other guy, Hank Atwood. And also, he's coming across this pill, which we really don't know the origins of. We learn that it's not FDA approved and that there seem to be people that are after him. So he's got a lot of... there's a lot of ramifications for the fact that he's hoarding the 500 or so answers to all his problems.
Right. Because like you said, you see it and you think, okay, maybe I'll just keep with the 20% that's working up here. You know,
but
it
doesn't. I mean, you don't know. Maybe it seems that it could work out for him. Who knows?
Right, and it's a whole interesting thing because again, guaranteed you're watching this movie and you're thinking so many different things that may happen at the end, and when it gets there, you're like, this is fantastic. Really, really good. And then, you know, here he is. He's the executive producer. How'd that part come along, and was that instrumental in getting Robert in the movie?
I think Relativity was just kind enough to give me that credit because how much I just cared about the movie and tried to help it, evolve into its best possible form.
Right.
And but we all had our sights on hopefully getting Bob to do it, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, fantastic. A pleasure. It's always seeing you both. And I'll just say this part real quick. When you did do Stone, I was actually one of the background actors.
Oh, were you?
When you're doing your party scene,
Oh, the
if you
party
look
scene,
real
yeah,
quick,
yeah,
you'll
yeah.
see my
Okay,
big head
okay.
there in the middle, and it's like the proudest moment.
Maybe you look familiar.
That's right.
Yeah.
Told my friends, that's me and DeNiro. We're working together.
Your powers are a gift from God or whoever the hell wrote your life script. I'll open up a line of credit for you. You'll be wanting a few toys.
How many of us ever know what it is to become the perfect version of ourselves?
What's the asking price?
12.5.
I'll take it.
Everything I have, I want to share with you.
What you doing, hon? You think somebody's watching?
My brain is skipping time. I have no memory of the last 4 days.
I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean to it.
Your powers are not earned. You're careless with those powers. Have you asked yourself what you're going to do when you run out? You'll die.
No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours.
There's no scenario in which you'd lead this life where you don't work for me.
No scenario. I see every scenario. I see 50 scenarios. That's what it does, Carl. It puts me 50 moves ahead of you. Worth the risk? What would you do?